You don't see it on the news every day. But right now, one narrow strip of water controls the fate of the global economy. And if it shuts down, even for a few days, gas prices spike, supply chains collapse, markets panic. That place is called the Strait of Hormuz. Every single day, nearly 20% of the world's oil flows through this tiny corridor between Iran and Oman. At its narrowest point, it's just 21 miles wide. But here's the part most people don't realize. The actual shipping lanes are only 2 miles wide in each direction. 2 miles, carrying the energy that powers entire nations. Now, imagine this. One tanker hit, one mine, one mistake. That's all it takes, because the Strait of Hormuz doesn't close with force, it closes with fear. And lately, that fear is growing. Warships are constantly patrolling these waters. Tankers are being seized. Insurance costs are skyrocketing. Shipping companies are quietly preparing for the worst. The strait is still open, but the world is already acting like it might not stay that way. And if it doesn't, this isn't just a regional crisis. This hits everywhere. From gas stations in California to factories in Germany to supply chains in Asia, the entire system feels it, which leads to a powerful question. What if ships didn't have to pass through the Strait of Hormuz at all? It sounds impossible, but for decades, engineers and strategists have debated a radical idea: a canal. Not in Egypt, not in Panama, but through the mountains of Oman. A massive artificial passage cutting across the Musandam Peninsula, allowing oil tankers to completely bypass the Strait of Hormuz. On paper, it sounds like the ultimate solution, a way to eliminate one of the most dangerous choke points on Earth. But reality is far more brutal, because when you zoom in on the map, you realize something important. The Persian Gulf is surrounded by energy giants: Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, the UAE, and almost every drop of oil they export must pass through that same narrow exit. Roughly 20 million barrels per day. There are pipelines, yes. Saudi Arabia has routes to the Red Sea.
The UAE built a line to Fujairah, but here's the truth. They can't replace the Strait of Hormuz, not even close. The world still depends on ships, and ships still depend on that corridor, which is exactly why the canal idea is so tempting. Because if you look closely at Oman's northern tip, you'll see something surprising. The distance between the Persian Gulf and open ocean is only a few dozen miles, just a thin strip of land. So why not cut through it? Why not build a new path and change global trade forever? Because that thin strip of land is actually a wall of mountains. The Musandam Peninsula isn't flat desert. It's one of the most rugged regions in the Middle East. Sharp limestone peaks, massive cliffs, some rising over 6,500 feet high. Building a canal here wouldn't mean digging sand. It would mean cutting through entire mountains. And not just any canal. To handle modern oil tankers, the massive VLCCs, this passage would need to be enormous, deep, wide, stable, capable of handling ships hundreds of meters long. The scale of excavation would be almost unimaginable. Millions, even billions of tons of rock would need to be blasted, removed, reshaped. The cost? Not billions, possibly hundreds of billions of dollars. For comparison, the Panama Canal expansion cost about $5 billion. This would dwarf it. But even if money wasn't the issue, there's something even harder to move than mountains: politics. The Musandam Peninsula belongs to Oman, and right now, there is no official plan to build this canal. No agreements, no funding, no international coalition ready to make it happen. And even if there was, here's the uncomfortable truth. A canal wouldn't eliminate the problem. It would just move it, because instead of relying on the Strait of Hormuz, the world would rely on a single artificial canal, and that canal could still be blocked. One accident, one attack, one grounded ship, and the entire system stops again. Different location, same vulnerability. So why does this idea keep coming back? Because it exposes something deeper. The modern world runs on geography. A narrow canal Canal in Egypt, a strait between rival nations, a handful of routes that quietly control everything. We like to think technology makes us independent, but in reality, we're still dependent on a few critical nuktas on the map. The Musandam Canal isn't just an engineering idea, it's a dream of redesigning geography itself, of removing risk, of creating certainty. But reality doesn't bend that easily. Mountains don't move fast, and geopolitics moves even slower. For now, the Strait of Hormuz remains exactly what it has always been, a narrow passage with massive consequences, and as long as the world depends on it, it will remain one of the most dangerous and most important waterways on Earth.